Hello, I welcome you all again to the class of Information and Network Security. Well, in this session, let us learn about the basic introduction of information security, what is information security, and the history behind information security, whereas, and also about various key information security concepts and the critical components and the characteristics of information security. James Anderson, executive consultant, where he believes that information security in an enterprise is a well informed sense of assurance that the information risk and controls are in balance. He is not alone in his perspective. Many information security practitioners recognizes that aligning information security needs with business objectives must be a top priority. Well, here in this graph, where it gives us the detailed graphs about from 2006 to 2011 about the total vulnerabilities that is identified, where you can see that as the year pass on, the vulnerability is also increasing. That is whether it can be of data theft or data breaching or whatever it is. So the cyber security cases is been increasing day by day, and we also have another graph where we have a data until 2018, where it shows that from the past 5 to 6 years, where the millions of different kinds of millions of crores of data has been theft and the security breaches have happened. And that is the requirement, or that is a concern what we have actually now. And if you could look into the global cyber security market, so here it specifies uh, the different kinds of job opportunities with respect to the different domains. Whereas what is the scope of cyber security in aerospace, and what is the scope of cyber security in banking, finance sectors, and public sectors, retail, healthcare, and all those things. Whereas as you can see that where in the graph, so yellow mark which specifies which is of 2017, whereas blue color specifies where it is a graph specifying in 2025. That might be a job opportunities where which you could get it at the by the 2025, where it shows that when with respect to the banking sectors, where the banking financial sectors, where there might be a lot of job opportunities which could be open, because of the more risk is always there when it comes to the banking and the financial aspects. And if you could look into the change in job posting and the job seekers interest in the cybersecurity role in the year 2017 and the 2018, where with respect to the the different country wise, where as you can see here, with India, look at the job posting and look at the people who are seekers here. So here that means that where only less people are aware of the need for this cybersecurity job, or much of the people are broadcasted or to the, or we can say that exposed, so such kind of the job opportunities. So I hope this will give you deep thought about, like, if you could starting a new career apart from that of a starting a job in cyber security apart from that of as a software engineer. Well, the history of information security begins with the computer security. The need for computer security, so that is the need to secure physical locations, hardware, and the software from these threats, where it arose actually during the World War II, when the first mainframes developed to aid computation for communication code breaks. The multiple levels of security were implemented to protect these mainframes and maintain the integrity of their data. So access to sensitive military locations, for examples, was was controlled by means of the badges, keys, and the facial recognitions of authorized person by the security guards. The growing need to maintain national security eventually led to a more complex and a more technological sophisticated computer security safeguards. So, during these days, the information security was a straightforward process. So, composed predominantly of the physical security and the simple document classification scheme. The primary threats of the security were the physical theft of equipments, um, one of the first document security problems that fell outside these categories occurred in the year 1960. So, this is where it actually all started when the system administrator was working on the message of the day file, where usually during the war they used to send the messages, right? And the another administrator was editing the password file. A software glitch mixed the two different files and the entire password file was printed on every output file. So, hence, this all started during the year 1960s, and during the next decade, so that is in 70s and 80s, where the ARPANET became popular and more widely used, and the potential for its misuse grew. Where in the late 60s, where um, Roberts, known as the founder of the internet, developed a project which was called as ARPANET from its inception. ARPANET is a predecessor or to that of internet. So before there was an internet, right? So there was the communication protocol which was called as an ARPANET, where in again when in December 1973, the Robert, who is credited with the development of an Ethernet, one of the most popular networking protocol, identified fundamental problems with ARPANET security, where individual remote sites did not have the sufficient control and the safeguards to protect data from unauthorized remote users. So other problems abundant, vulnerabilities of the password structures and the format, or the lack of safety procedures for dial-up connections, and so non-existent user identification and the unauthorization to the system. So the phone numbers were widely distributed and openly publicized on the walls of the phone booth, giving hackers easy access to the ARPANET. And so, because of the range and the frequency of the computer security violations and the explosions in the number of the hosts and the users on the ARPANET, so the network security was referred to as network insecurity. And then in 1978, a famous study entitled The Protection Analysis. So that is a final project was which was published, where it focused on the project undertaken by ARPANET to discover the vulnerabilities of operating system security for a time. So that includes this and other sequential studies of the computer studies or the computer security. Sorry. And then in 90s, where at the close out of 20th century, the networks of computers became more common as did the need to connect these networks to each other. So this gave rise to the internet, the first global network of networks. So that is, the internet was made available to the general public in 90s, having previously been the domain of the government, academia, and dedicated industry professionals. The internet brought connectivity to the virtually all computers that could reach a phone line or an internet connected local area network. So after the internet was commercialized, so the technology became pervasive, reaching almost every corner of the globe with an expanding array of the users. And then in 2000, where today or to the present, the internet brings millions of unsecured computer networks into continuous communication with each other. The security of each computer's stored information is now contingent on the level of security of every other computer to which it is connected. So recent years have seen a growing awareness of the need to improve information security, as well as the realization that the information security is important to the national defense. The growing threat of the cyber attacks have made the governments and the companies more aware of the need to defend the computer controlled the control systems of utilities and the other um, critical infrastructure. So there is also a growing concern about the nation states engaging in information warfare and the possibility that the business and the personal information, uh, you know, the supports could become casualties if they are undefended. So now let us learn about what exactly is security, where the security is the quality or the state of being secure or to be free from the danger, where in other words it is about protection against adversaries from those who would do harm intentionally or otherwise is the objective of his or her own thoughts. And the national security, for example, is the multi-layered system so that protects the sovereignty of the state, its asset, its resources, and its people. Achieving the appropriate level of security for an organization also requires a multifaceted systems. A successful organization should have the following multiple layers of security in place to protect its operations, where one of them are the physical security, where physical security is to protect physical items or objects or areas from unauthorized access and misuse, and you have the personal security where it is used to protect the individual or the group of individuals who are authorized to access the organization and its operations. And then you have the operation security, where the operation security is to protect the details of the particular operations or the series of activities. And then you have the communication security, where the communication security is to protect the communication media technology and where are the different contents. And the network security, where to protect the networking components, connections, and as well as the contents. And the information security, where it is to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information asset, whether in the storage, processing, or the transmission. It is achieved via the applications of policy, education, training, and awareness and the technology industry called the CIA triangle, where this is a triangle where you can see that the CIA triangle has been the industry standards for the computer security since the development of the mainframe. So it is based on the three characteristics of the information that gives it value to the organization. So that is confidentiality, integrity, and the availability of the data. The security of these three characteristics of information is as important today as it has been, but the CIA triangle model no longer adequately addresses the constant changing environment, where the threat to the confidentiality, integrity, and the availability of the information has evolved into the vast collection of events, including the accidental or incidental damages, or the destructions, or the theft, or unintended or unauthorized modifications, or other misuse from human or non-human threats. So this new environment of many constantly evolving threats have prompted the development of a more robust model so that addresses the complexities of the current information security environment. So here in this slide where we list a number of terms and concepts so that are essential to any of the discussions of with respect to the information security, where we call it as a key information security concepts, where the first one we'll look into is access. A subject or an object's ability to use, manipulate, modify, or affect another subject or object. That is what we call it as an access. So authorized users have the legal access to the system, whereas the hackers have illegal access to the system. Access controls regulate this ability. And so the next key point which we'll be looking into is an asset. The organizational resources, so that is being protected. An asset can be logical, such as a website, information, or the data, or an asset can be a physical, such as a person, computer system, or other tangible objects. Assets, and the particularly information assets, are the focus of the security efforts. They are what these efforts are attempting to protect. And the next one we'll be looking into is about attacks. An intentional or unintentional act so that can cause damages to or otherwise comprises information and or to the system that supports it. So attack can be of active attack or a passive attack. So that is of intentional or unintentional or direct or indirect. So someone casually reading sensitive information not intended for his or her use is a passive attack, and hacker attempting to break into an information system is an intentional attack, right? So a lightning strike so that causes a fire in a building is an unintentional attack. A direct attack is an hacker using a personal computer to break into the system. An indirect attack is an hacker comprising the system and using it to attack other systems. Say for example, a part of a botnet. So this group of comprised computers running softwares of the attackers choosing can operate autonomously or under the attacker's direct control to attack system and steal users information or the conduct distributed denial of the services attacks. And then we have about the control, safeguard, or the countermeasures, where the security mechanisms, the policies or procedures that can successfully counter attack or reduce risk or resolve vulnerabilities and otherwise improve the security within an organization. The various levels and the type of controls, of all what are the different kinds of the controls and the securities and the countermeasures, we'll be learning about in detail about this in the coming chapters. And then talking about the exploit, a technique used to compromise a system. So this term can be a verb or a noun. A threat agent may attempt to exploit a system or other information asset by using it illegally for their personal gain. So that is what we call it as an exploit. Or an exploit can be a document process to take advantage of the vulnerabilities or exposures. So usually in a software, so that is either inherent in the software or is created by an attacker. And then we have exposures, a condition or the state of being exposed. So that is what we call it as an exposure. So in information security, exposure exists when a vulnerability known to an attacker is present. And talking about the loss, a single instance of an information asset suffering damage or unintended or unauthorized modification or the disclosure. So when an organization information is stolen, it has suffered a loss. And the protection profile or the security postures, the entire set of the control and the safeguards, including you know the policy, education, training and awareness and technology so that the organization implements to protect the asset. So the terms are sometimes usually interchangeably with the terms like the security program, although the security programs often comprises managerial aspects of the security, including planning, personnel, and the subordinate programs. And talking about the risk, the probability that the something unwanted will happen, so that is the risk we calculate, right? So organization must minimize the risk to match the risk appetite, the quality and the nature of the risk the organization is willing to accept, so that is what we call it as an appetite. Um the subjects and the objects, the computer can be either the subject of an attack, an agent entity used to conduct the attack, or the object of an attack, that is the target entity, where a computer can be both the subject and the object of the attack when, for example, it is compromised by an attack and it is then used to attack other objects. And talking about the threat, a threat, a category of an objects, persons, or other entities that presents a danger to an asset. So threats are always present and can be purposefully or undirected. It is undirected. Say, for example, the hackers purposefully threaten unprotected information systems, while severe storms incidentally threaten buildings and their contents, right? So the threat agent, the specific instance or the component of a threat, say for example, all hackers in the world presents a collective threat, while you know who say for example a lightning strike or hailstorms or something like that is a threat agent, so that is a part of the threat of the severe storm. And vulnerabilities, a weakness or a fault is a system or the protection mechanism so that opens its attack or a damage. Say for example of the vulnerabilities where the flaw in the software package or an unprotected system port and an unlocked door, where some unknown vulnerabilities have been examined, documented and published in most of the study cases.